The Baltimore Ravens are absolutely dominating the 2025 NFL Draft with pick number 91 in the third round. They took Emery Jones Jr., tackle from LSU, but I think he's playing guard. We've been talking about how we got to beef up the trenches. They just got Mike Green, pass rusher, in the second round, which is an obvious first-round talent. I just dropped a full video on Mike Green, and then now they keep adding to the trenches in round 3 with Emery Jones Jr., who's a versatile tackle who I really think is going to come in and compete at guard. I'm not saying he's going to beat out Falele or Voorhees, but it's competition and O-line depth. This is what we've been asking for. I want someone to push these guards and also be versatile enough to be a backup tackle, and I think that's exactly what Emery Jones Jr. is. He's 6'5", 315 pounds, junior out of LSU. In 2022, he's a freshman All-American, freshman All-SEC. 2023 was second-team All-SEC, started 12 games at right tackle, was Jaden Daniels' right tackle. In 2024, second-team All-SEC, started 12 games at right tackle. So this is a 3-year right tackle starter at LSU. He's played right tackle his whole career there, but I really think he's coming in for guard competition and tackle depth. I'm not saying that we're not going to use him as tackle. He's definitely going to be a backup tackle.
No, we see him as a possible swing guy. You know, he's kind of, that's what I thought the pick was so good that Eric made. He's got the chance to be a swing backup tackle for us right away, but he also has a chance to go in there guard and play. So we're going to put him in there guard too, see how he does, and just get a feel for him. You know, once he starts practicing, just get a feel for where he can help us, and we think he can play guard and tackle.
We need guard competition. We need O-line depth. This solves both of those problems. And Eric DeCosta is having himself a draft, man. He is having one of the all-time starts. You know, we'll see how it plays out, obviously. Right now, it's definitely, you know, I'm feeling the hype. I'm feeling like it is an all-time start, but you can't say that this early. You know, there could be injuries or a couple guys could bust out that you think are going to work or whatever. So we'll see how it plays out years from now. But let's enjoy the moment, man. There's no way you could be mad about how this draft has went. Malachi Starks in the first round, best safety available. And then Mike Green, absolute steal, falls to pick 59. And the Ravens get him in the second round. And then now adding to the trenches on the offensive line, Emery Jones Jr., tackle/guard from LSU. I love it, man. I love what Eric DeCosta's doing. And now I feel like we have knocked out some important needs early in this draft that it really does create some flexibility to kind of go, you know, best player available in whatever way you want to go. I mean, we definitely need to add to the interior defensive line. I think there's a lot of depth still there. We could obviously add more interior offensive line or just offensive line in general. I think we could add a receiver, add another corner. But as we get later in this draft, you're going to get less and less immediate impact players. I still think this is a really deep draft, so I wouldn't be surprised if we hit on a 4th or a 5th round pick in this draft. I think there's that type of talent deep into this draft, but probably not year one. You know, we're not going to see impact this year. But a guy like Emery Jones is going to push Voorhees and Falele, man. I'm not saying he's going to win the job. I would not mind if Falele and Voorhees win that job. That's fine. I've been saying that. But we need competition. You know, right now, Ben Cleveland's the competition. So let's bring in a rookie. Let's bring in a versatile rookie and see what he's got. I honestly, my prediction right now is that he doesn't win the guard job, but I like that competition. You know, I want that room to be stacked. And I also like that Emery Jones Jr. is going to provide tackle depth for sure. So we're getting a backup lineman at least. And that's a good position to be in. You know, continue to add to the trenches. I'm with it. Now, I do think there probably were a few better options. I'm not saying Emery Jones Jr. is ready to go starting guard or tackle. I think that he probably is going to have a red shirt year, you know, unless he does win the guard job. But I think that he's going to take a tiny bit of development, but regardless, there's a ton of potential there. I think he plays pissed off, and that's important, man. I got on Falele last year so many times where I'm just like, use your size. You know what I mean? Like, Yeah, he's a little slower. He's a huge guy, but like he doesn't play pissed off either. He should be mauling dudes. And I see a little bit of that in Emery Jones Jr. I think he's got that dog in him, and he just needs to work on his footwork. If he's moving into guard, whether that's left guard, right guard's probably an easier transition for him since he played right tackle. If he's moving into guard, there's going to be an adjustment period there like there was with Falele. So I'm not saying this is a polished guy. I definitely wanted Wyatt Millum. I've seen a lot of people on X talking about him. He went a couple picks before, but the Ravens could have went up and got him pretty easily, I think, and they decided not to, so I don't know. They obviously liked Emery Jones. So there's probably a better option in that round. I'm not saying Emery Jones Jr. was the best pick, but I am not complaining about adding to the trenches. I trust that the Ravens and their scouts do their homework to get good guys. They usually don't bust on a ton of picks, and they've been pretty good with offensive linemen. And I think Emery Jones Jr. is going to provide much needed depth on this offensive line and competition, and could be a future starter down the line. So we'll see how it plays out, but I'm not mad about adding to the trenches on either side of the ball. I still think we got to add to the D-line and corner, but after that, it's free game. Let's have fun. Best player available, and probably get a kicker maybe later in this draft. I don't know, but tomorrow should be stress-free. I think we've knocked out a lot of immediate needs, and landing Mike Green is unbelievable. I think that just changed our edge room completely. And then Malachi Stark's home run pick in the first, and now we're adding to the trenches like we should be doing in getting Emery Jones Jr. I'm not mad at any of these picks. I think this is one of Eric DeCosta's best starts. I know I'm living in the moment. Let me live in the moment. We should all be excited. I just don't know how you're mad about how this draft has went so far. I think the Ravens are taking chances, maybe not with trades. They're not a big trade up team, and that could be to a fault. Maybe we should go up 10 picks and grab the guy we want. I totally understand that, but I think we're taking different risks this year getting a guy like Mike Green. That was a guy we definitely would have let slide, and like a lot of teams did, and we decided not to. So I like the aggressive mentality. I like that we're adding to our needs. Every single pick has been a need. We have a really stacked roster. The Ravens don't have a ton of holes, but we are filling those holes as best as possible. So I like the strategy. I like how this draft has went so far. I think Eric DeCosta is knocking this thing out of the park. And I've said it a million times, but Falele is a free agent after this season. So this could be another guard project for the Ravens if they don't want to pay Falele. I'm not saying that that's how they're going to go. It's way too early to determine that. But Falele might not be here long term. If he starts and has a great year this year and the Ravens don't want to pay up, he seems like the perfect candidate that the Ravens are just going to let go for a comp pick and then be like, oh yeah, we drafted your replacement the year prior and we've been developing him. Because Falele was drafted as a right tackle, was a backup right tackle. We moved him to guard last year. There were some development issues and it took a little bit of time. He was getting better, but still not a great, reliable right guard consistently game after game. And I think Emery Jones Jr. is probably going to be similar to that at first. But regardless, I like the competition and I like his mentality. I don't know him a ton, but from what I've seen, he plays with some fire. And I want my linemen playing with fire, man. I think that's the best way to be. I think that's the best way to play football in general. I honestly couldn't ask for much else to start off this draft. I think we've addressed some serious needs. I think we've got some incredible value, and I'm excited for tomorrow as we round out the rest of these picks. We have 8 picks tomorrow. We've only had 3 of our 11 picks so far, so we'll see if we end up moving some of those, or if we end up drafting 8 guys. 8 more guys are not making the roster, I can tell you that. There will not be 11 rookies that make the Ravens roster. So hopefully we can package some and just move up in the 5th or 4th round if we do see another guy that we like. I think this is a deep draft. We are going to hit on a later round pick. Probably not all of them. Nobody ever does. But I think the Ravens are going to find some great value in the 4th or 5th round that contributes a year or 2 from now and really adds value to this team. I really believe that. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your night or day if you're watching this tomorrow. And I'll let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens Flock. Flock Rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. The Flock Rundown. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to